got a big wounded grizzly in the bush. It's always fun. This is where you can get in trouble. You're almost right over top of us. He's either cherry red off the vine, never hunted before in his life, or this dude's like some hardcore professional hunter.
But yeah, what a day.
Yeah, Mark's like, so do the guides usually help pack the meat? I'm like, yeah, I'll help a little bit.
That was awesome. What a rush.
He's coming in perfect.
I can't believe it worked out like this. I got no words. I'm so excited.
Do you have our hero in that airplane? That's a load. Bear won that round.
Wander through these bushes at breakneck speed.
Little did I know I was in for one of the best hunts of my life. I think you just smoked a big, big moose.
Oh my God.
This is him.
Sort of mixed emotions, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
This is what makes us human.
One of the absolute greatest blessings of my time in the wilderness has been the time I've spent with my clients, the lessons that I've learned with them, and the relationships that we've formed dealing with adversity and just that close-knit, intimate time that one spends together on a wilderness hunting adventure. And 95+% of my clients have been great. But there's definitely been a few that I probably wouldn't care to hunt with again. That said, I pretty much learned something from them every time as well. I definitely hesitated to show this film, but it was part of my experience. I mean, this is a story that I would tell my friends and I would tell my kids about, namely because of the lessons that I learned. I'm going to showcase 2 hunts in this film, 2 moose hunts, and they're going to be very much opposite. And so I'm hoping that that will kind of showcase my ultimate point or takeaway that I'm hoping that you receive from this film. As a person that started hunting at a young age, you know, growing up in it and seeing, you know, my dad hunt and just being around it my whole life, I had what I would consider preconceived notions about hunting before I actually ever even hunted. And definitely the more I did it, you know, record books and you know, size of the animals kind of became paramount. And you know, that was largely due to my ego and my pride. And I'm still dealing with my ego and my pride to this day, no doubt about that. But through the course of my years of experience and hunting many different places around the globe, but particularly for, you know, over 2 decades in Alaska at this point as a guide, I find the hunting experience to be less about measurements, less about accomplishments and trophies, but what I and my clients, the people that I'm with, what we learn and what we experience in the process. So the point of this film is to showcase what I've learned. I'm not trying to demean anybody. I don't think that I'm better than anybody else, and you'll see what I mean as you watch this film. But I'm here to tell you that I definitely had wrong motives, and I still do to this day, don't get me wrong, but I definitely approached hunting from a very ego-driven and prideful direction or an angle. And I find the more that I rid myself of that, the more I enjoy the process. And I learned a valuable lesson on one of these hunts particularly. I learned valuable lessons on both hunts, but the greatest lesson that I learned was from what I figured would be a very unlikely source. So I hope you enjoy this film, and as always, appreciate your support. was guiding in western Alaska, and we were hunting this hill country where we were landing on ridgetops with super cubs and then hunting on foot. I'd done a couple of moose hunts in a different camp, and I came into this one and there was already a packer and a hunter there. Packer's name was Derek, and the hunter, we'll call him Joe. The first thing I noticed when I got there in the alder bush was a Milky Way wrapper and an empty Pepsi can. And I went to the packer, who I knew a little bit, but I'd never hunted with him, and I said, "Is that yours?" And he's like, "No, it's his," motioning to Joe. The hunt kind of got off on a sour note, to put it mildly. So I explained to him where the garbage was. Meanwhile, he starts talking about everything under the sun, and he's more or less yelling. He's talking so loud, and I explained to him that he needed to be quiet, but he persisted all through the evening in the cook tent when I was cooking supper to tell Derek and I how great he was, what a great hunter he was, what a great shot he was. His PH in Africa told him that he was the greatest shot that he ever saw. He had 17 animals on safari, and all of them were one-shot kills, and he needs to write a book about him and his rifle. And when he was a young man, boy, he was tough and he could sure go. He was definitely not a physical specimen at that point when we were hunting with him, that's for sure. It was at that point, I'd been guiding for 2 months already that season, and I'm usually a pretty patient guy, but Joe was cutting the margin on my patience pretty thin right away, and the hunt hadn't even begun yet. We got a real big grizzly down in this flat. 8.5 at least. Big old boar. Our scent's kind of blowing pretty much toward him. And there's a lot of brush, so we're just going to keep an eye on him. About 1.5 miles, I'd say, away. Working up that draw. Real brushy draw. Derek had been in this camp on the previous hunt, and they had seen this bull, and he had some cows, and they just never were able to bring him in. He never came any closer than what he was at that time. And so I got Derek off to the side and I said, "Hey man," and I told him, "This is gonna be a long pack. This is gonna be over 2 miles. You know, I'm not gonna go after him unless you're down with it." And Derek and I actually both agreed that we'd probably rather spend a couple of days packing out this moose than we would hanging around with Joe, you know, because we knew Joe wasn't going to be any help packing out this bull. So Derek was a stud, no doubt about that. He was a tough kid, and he was willing to do whatever it took. And so we decided to go after that bull. Up through here. Should be about 600-700 yards over here. Wind is right in our face. Got no cover left. 750 yards. Cow's on her feet. She doesn't see us, but he's bedded right in the middle. Cow's right there. We're in a holding pattern. So we get moved in on this bull pretty close. We're about 400 yards away. We're on this little ledge kind of overlooking this gentle valley that was mostly brush covered, and we'd see that bull every once in a while. I sent Derek down 100 yards below us to do a little calling, maybe to challenge that bull, and hopefully he'd move a little closer, but it just didn't work. Joe kept assuring me, "I can hit him, I can hit him." Not saying you couldn't make it, but that's just way too risky, because you're only going to get one shot if he takes off. Yeah, maybe you can hit him once, but as soon as he moves, he's in brush, we're not going to be able to see him. He's probably just going to go downhill And if he goes another mile or two in that brush, it's going to be very difficult at best to get that meat out of there without it spoiling in that amount of time. And of course, he didn't care about that because he knew that Derek and I would be handling the packing. So I wouldn't let him shoot. And so finally we just decided, all right, there's probably no chance in getting Joe back up here again because it was a pretty good little jaunt there. And so we decided let's take our chances, and Derek agreed to go around, and then we'd try to do a drive, try to drive this bull past us. Well, he's got at least 2 cows in here, if not 3. Keeping a real close eye on them. He pushed the other one over in here somewhere, and then he went back to grab this one. He seems to be wanting to push him this way, so we're just going to be patient. Figure we'll give her a whirl. Probably won't work, but what we're doing now doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, Derek's working around. He's in the brush making quite a bit of noise. There, I see him. Okay, he's gonna come out and I'll call and then he'll stop. Wait, let him get out in the open. Let him get out in the open. He's gonna be 400. I'll call and stop him. Yep. Yeah, they're getting a little farther away, but yeah, you might as well let them come out into the open. Yeah, he's hanging right in that brush there. Hold it. Okay. Hold a little high. Okay, reload.
That hit him.
Yeah, reload. 500. For better or worse, I'm sure I'd much rather have him up there than down in some brush. Where's our driver? I just saw him there and gave him the, right there he is. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. And of course, anytime you have a hunter bragging about how good he shoots, you know he's gonna miss. But it was tough shooting nonetheless. That was a lot unorthodox, but it worked. But when Derek got up to the bull was still alive. Derek shot the bull, finished it off as he should have. And it took a while for Joe to get there. And first thing he did was he reamed Derek out for shooting his bull. Here he is.
Work stops and the play begins, right?
Not so much. Under no circumstance should you sit there and let an animal suffer. Finish it off, you did the right thing. Big old brows on him. Actually 6 on that side, 6 and 5. And that didn't even faze Joe. He just jumped right in there for the pictures and he was all happy-go-lucky. He had his, Boone and Crockett moose. He was sizing up all the measurements and telling us what he thought it would score. And Derek and I, we could have cared less. We're like, all we can think about is the 2+ miles that we have to pack this thing out. And later, The pilots actually flew over there. I didn't have a GPS. The pilots later flew from camp over to the kill site, and I want to say it was like 2.5 air miles to that kill site. So it was darn near, if not a 3-mile pack to get that bull out. Work begins, huh, young man?
Yes, it does.
So you want to be a moose guide. We'd actually kind of lucked out on that deal. That bull had apparently gotten into a fight the fall before and been gored in the side. It was healed over, but he had lost a lot of condition. I would say that bull probably weighed 300 to 400 pounds less than what he should have. You know, he was very, very skinny. Obviously still had a healthy set of antlers on him, but for as far as we had to pack that bull, we were pretty darn fortunate that he wasn't as big as what those bulls in that country typically get. We've got about a half hour till dark. It's gonna take us over an hour to get back to camp. It's gonna be a late night. And so it took us 2 days to pack that bull out, and Derek did the lion's share of it. I gotta give credit where credit is due, man. He packed some heavy loads back to camp. For better or worse, the moose is dead.
Yeah. Good luck.
Gonna finish butchering it, start packing. Farthest pack I've ever had on a moose, by far. After 25 years, when I look back at all the hunts that I've guided, I don't remember a single score. I don't remember how many times we shot. I remember how heavy some of the packs were, but what I remember most of each individual hunt is something that at the time, a specific thing or things that at the time seemed insignificant. Those memories might just be a conversation or just some animal doing something, or a sunrise or an airplane ride, or whatever it was. And I just want to encourage anybody out there that's interested in experiencing Alaska. It is a place to go with no agenda. It's a place to just go because you can no longer stand the thought of having not at least tried. When you get to that point where the fear of failure or not getting something is dwarfed by the fear of never realizing your dream, you're ready. You're ready to experience the wilderness, to be immersed in it and receive whatever it is. That's when the life-changing aspect of being in the wilderness is going to take place. When you want to go there, experience it, win, lose, or draw, I guarantee you will not regret that you went and experienced Alaska for yourself. Watching a moose fly away is almost as beautiful as watching him come into the calls. So Derek left after the bull was flown out, so it was just me and Joe, and we had 5-6 days, whatever it was, to hunt grizzly bear. And of course for Joe it had to be Boone and Crockett. Nothing else would do. We saw a couple of bears far off, kind of the same couple. I think we'd see them a couple different times. So finally, I think it might even been his last hunting day, we had a big grizzly bear working up this draw. He was probably a mile, mile and a half away, and Joe was pretty slow moving. We tried to cut him off, but the bear, he's just kind of feeding on berries, moving pretty quick.
Working along the edge of that creek bottom. A little over a mile below us. Wind's in our face, so probably work down. See what we got.
And so it was just, we were moving so slow, it was just tough to cut him off, and eventually we kind of just ended up trailing behind him, and fortunately he slowed down enough and meandered around enough that we could more or less catch up to him. We got set up at 200 yards, and so I threw my pack down, I got him up on my pack, he laid his rifle on top of my pack, and I said, "Don't shoot until I tell you." And so I squealed, I just went, "Yee!" like that, and the bear stopped, turned his head, and all of a sudden, boom! If he'd have just waited, the bear would have turned. I mean, a big bear like that, he's gonna stop and look, you know, and turn back. But instead, he shoots when I told him not to, and he hits the bear right in the hind end. Of course, the bear takes off running. Well, I reset the pack up for him, told him to get back on the pack. He gets back on the pack for a rest. Matter of fact, if I remember right, I think he shot once offhand, which, you know, he missed. Get him up on the pack. He gets a rest again. I grab my rifle, boom, he shoots, misses again. By the time I get my rifle out, the bear's out of sight. Now we've got a big wounded grizzly in the bush. It's always fun. Thanks to a hunter that shoots too quick, doesn't listen to his guide, and knows it all. Ready to get rid of him. I just told him to, you stay here, because I knew that if I brought him down into that canyon with me, there was no way I was gonna get him out of there that day, maybe even alive, I don't know. So I went down in there by myself to track the bear.
Here's some blood. He's definitely hit. I don't think very well.
I looked and I looked and I looked, and eventually the blood just ran out. And I knew, you know, if he made it that far, there was virtually no chance of us finding that bear. And so there I am on my hands and knees, going through brush where I can barely see my hand in front of me, for this guy that didn't care about anything other than record books, what other people thought of him and his hunting achievements. And I think about my wife and my kids. And I thought, man, what am I doing this for? I felt subhuman. I was just a means to an end. I don't think that guy could have cared less. As a matter of fact, he never said anything. Everybody makes bad shots, don't get me wrong, but he never apologized for taking a shot when I told him not to. I was never so happy in all my life to see a hunter leave as I was Joe. The following September, I was hunting in the same general country, and my first hunter, he shot a big grizzly bear, shot a heck of a nice moose. I think it was about 66 inches wide. And so day two, he was tagged out. And so we weathered out a storm for a couple of days. And during that time, I was glassing around a little bit, spotted this great big bull, figured he was at least 65 inches, and was called the outfitter I was guiding for and told them, you know, hey, we're all done and there's a big bull running around here, so if you can get me another hunter in here, we could probably get this thing, because he's got a cow and he's just kind of hanging around. He's a mile or two from camp. So he said, yep, absolutely, we'll get you in another hunter as soon as we can. Here goes Tom. So this one plane comes in to grab Tom and drops off my new guy. My new guy steps out and he's got like long, wavy, sandy brown, maybe reddish hair. He's wearing these sunglasses, no hat on, you know, which that's kind of weird for hunters. And he had like just this tiny little knapsack, a backpack, and a sleeping bag, and a semi-automatic rifle. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the heck is this guy doing here? He's either cherry red off the vine, never hunted before in his life, or this dude's like some hardcore professional hunter. And come to find out that Mark was a surfer dude from San Francisco, and this was in fact his very first big game hunting adventure. There's a grizzly bear down on the river.
It's so cool.
Saw him in the water for a second.
Yeah.
Usually the males, they'll rub their foreheads up against the tree to kind of mark their territory. Usually I've just seen them doing that in the spring. It might just be a bear itching his back. I guess I shouldn't say that. There he comes up the river again.
That's awesome. Male bears are boars?
Yep. Just like pig. They're in the pig family.
No way, really?
Yep.
Related to pigs?
Yep.
Did not
They
know
get
that.
their sense of smell. They smell 7 times. Their sense of smell is 7 times that of a bloodhound. So Mark, what's your last name?
Frank,
Mark Frank from
from San Francisco.
San Francisco, California. How many big game hunts have you been on before?
0. Pretty excited to be on one.
Yeah, this is unique. This is a cool experience for me, being with somebody who's in the hunting realm, very inexperienced, so you just see your fresh perspective. What's your take on this land thus far?
It's pretty amazing. You know, it's see it on TV, and then to actually be here is like a whole nother thing. It's I've always wanted to go to Alaska, though. I've read about it. You know, it's cool to actually do it.
And you're experiencing the true Alaska, the wilderness of Alaska that most people never experience.
Yeah, there's just so much space, so much more space than I thought there would be. I thought it was dramatized by TV, you know, but it's the real deal.
Yeah. A lot of people look at the wilderness, see the wilderness when they come to Alaska, but they don't live it and experience it. So you're pretty fortunate you're going to get to do that here.
Yeah.
One of the most remote corners of the state, nonetheless. So we haven't seen any moose yet. Seen just the one grizzly bear. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, the day Mark flew in. So tomorrow it'll be game on. So what are we hunting for?
I'll have a tag for both moose and grizzly, but I'm gonna focus on the moose first. And if grizzly presents itself, I guess we'll go for it. But definitely want to get a good moose.
Yes, and been watching that one this morning. I last saw him about 11:30 this morning. Right over there. So we've been glassing for him this evening, haven't seen any moose yet, but we've been getting a fair bit of weather and wind moving in, just been raining in and out. Hopefully this will clear up, we get some decent weather. Hopefully he sticks around. I'd definitely like to find that bull. He's one of the better bulls I've seen in a long time.
But yeah, Mark Twain said only a fool tries to recreate a past experience, and you know, you see that with the surfing world. You know, some guy will go back on a trip and try to get the same wave he got last time, and it's impossible.
Huh?
You know, so you gotta go somewhere new, do something else. stay stoked.
I've never been to San Francisco, but I'm sure it doesn't look like this.
Well, it doesn't.
There, that bear is moving up off the creek.
It's weird to not see buildings.
Yeah, we could very well have him.
I guess he's coming towards us.
Saw him running. I don't know why this bear's running. He doesn't wind us or no, we've never been down there, but yeah, we can't shoot a bear tonight, so we don't really want him to see us on this skyline, so we'll probably just back away, but there's a good chance he'll be through our camp at some point. Usually these bears stay away from your camp, but we got that moose kill nearby, so we're gonna need to be on edge with that, because if a bear gets on a kill, they can be real protective and exceptionally aggressive, so you always want to be more cautious when you got a kill in the area. So, but yeah, this is kind of a real cool experience for me. I'm used to guiding guys that are that have hunted many lots, and a lot of guys have hunted Alaska several times. It's neat just to see uninhibited somebody experience hunting for the first time, no preconceived notions of any sort. It's very interesting, and I find it fascinating, quite frankly. As hunters, we all have these ideals and goals and dreams, and so to be here with Mark and somebody's just really experiencing big game hunting for the very first time in his life, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so is your first grizzly bear. Is that him right there? Yeah, bears don't see real well, but they see things on the skyline, especially moving, so not that I'm like real concerned, but I'd just hate to have to shoot this. I'd hate to have to shoot a bear coming at us, you know, before he can legally shoot it and tag it, so
Yeah.
we'll probably just back out of here and he'll probably just mosey on through and we won't have any issues. At first I didn't know what to think, you know, I was like, you know, man, I'm gonna have to teach this guy everything. You know, it was totally out of the norm. I've never had anybody hunt like that who didn't have at least a fair degree of hunting experience. And you know, the more I was around Mark, the more I just realized, man, he's a good, genuine, sincere guy. And I kind of showed him a few things of what to expect when it came time to shoot. I wanted him to be prepared, obviously, with that big bull nearby. I was hopeful that, you know, the next day we'd get a crack at him, and he was just so eager to learn. Keep your knees in the air. Okay, and then put one hand probably there. If you need to adjust the height, you just slide your pack forward or lean into it, but you're gonna have to hold on to the pack. So what you kind of want to do is cross your legs, keep your knees up high, and then anytime you can, you want to lock your elbow, because that gets a point of contact. Lift your elbow up. Now try to hold your rifle still. Okay, now lock your elbow. Way easier to be steady with your elbow resting.
Yeah.
This is rock solid, now this is rock solid. So you can't move this way, this can't move, and this can't move.
That's pretty awesome.
He asked a lot of questions, but they came from such a humble place that he wasn't annoying, you know? I actually kind of enjoyed going through the most basic elements of hunting with him, because he was so eager to learn and willing to do whatever I told him to do. And at one point, I just remember looking at him and remembering myself as a young hunter. And I actually kind of recognized that when I was young and trapping, I was like him. I was just so enamored by what I was going to experience in nature and what it was going to be like. And really, by the time I started hunting, I already had some sort of preconceived notions. It was like my ego was already involved in hunting when I first started, you know. I wanted to shoot a big buck for the wall. You know, before I even started hunting, I dreamed of that. And so it kind of brought me back to a time and place when I was really young, you know, 8 years old, and, you know, just bought a couple of traps and trapping coons and muskrats, and, you know, I was completely innocent and humble in what I was trying to experience and achieve.
And little did I know I was in for one of the best hunts of my life. Beautiful sunrise, a little windy. We're gonna try to find a moose today, but it's gonna be tough glassing into this wind. It's colder than it has been, but obviously this wind is gonna be the biggest challenge. Well, spotted the bull. I can find him in the camera. It's really, really windy. Bull is definitely interested in the calling.
It's good.
Yeah, he must not have any more cows with him, so there was 3 cows with him yesterday. None of them must have been close, so about 8 o'clock in the morning we spotted him pretty much at first light. So hopefully...
This guy looks like a monster. Dude, I haven't seen too many mooses, but that looks really hard to carry.
He's getting heavier as he gets closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Oh, this is cool.
Wake up and, oh, there's a moose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not always this easy, so don't think that for a second. We're fairly fortunate here. He's a long ways from in the bag. Obviously, we're probably going to try getting him
Across the river?
Yep, across this river, and I'm thinking we may just try to set up right here.
Oh. Oh, let's get close to the river.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can cover country in a hurry when they want to. About on top of the world here. We're here for the adventure.
I'm so excited for you.
Well, his legs are, well, from the top of his shoulder to his hoof is as tall as you and I stand, if not a little taller. So, yeah, when they take a step, it's 2 or 3 of our steps.
So when you're doing the calling, how much is like normal amount of calling? You don't want to overdo it, I'm sure.
Well, kind of about the way I like to do it is, as long as he's coming, I'd be quiet.
Okay.
You know, he knows there's a cow up here somewhere.
Okay.
So yeah, if he kind of holes up once in a while, then I'll give another call. But yeah, you don't want to just call your head off.
Okay.
You know, but I have heard real cow moose and they call a lot. I've seen this happen a lot. You'll be calling a bull and you think, oh, he's coming, and all of a sudden he just stops, you know, and you don't know exactly why. Yeah, pretty much every time I call, he keeps coming though.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
He's hanging up quite a bit. But then I called, he swung his head, and then he kept coming. So I think he's just trying to pinpoint exactly where we're at. Getting them to come across these openings is usually the biggest challenge. fair ways to come yet.
Yeah. He's out in the open now, so he's not too bad. He knows he has to cross a river if he wants to come over here, right?
Oh yeah, that river is nothing to him. Yeah, he sure seems to be coming in. As soon as he crosses the river, we're going to move out to the edge of this little ledge here. No, no need to be nervous. Yeah, just take deep breaths and remember we're just going to pick a hair, shoot a hair. Coming in perfect. It's at 320 yards right now. trying to stay on him. See how he gets through that brush and you can't see him, so we may have to take a, you can get a real good shot in there. We may just take him if we get an open shot. Are you on him? Yeah. You can hit him perfect in the shoulder, go off safety and squeeze it slow and hit him right in the shoulder. Just take your time. Wait till he stops. Hit him right in the shoulder. Reload. Okay, I guess just hit him again.
He's down.
Yep, okay, stay on him. He might get back up. Okay, just stay in that area. You definitely smoked him. Surfer dude, I think you just smoked a big moose.
Oh my god.
Because you saw how thick that brush is, and that's, they like to hang to that cover, and if he circles around that brush,
Yeah.
it could have been, we just ran such a serious risk of boogering him. Obviously, if he'd have came up to the left, we'd have let him walk right in, but
Yeah, I think he's dying.
I think he's dead.
Twitching and stuff. So we just hang out here for a half hour and make sure you died?
Yeah, we'll just wait a couple of minutes and make sure, I mean, I'm sure he's dead. I mean, I heard that report. Yes, sir, that is a down moose.
Oh man.
His antlers are down in the brush there. That pretty cool? That's the way you hope moose hunting works.
Well, yeah, this is yeah, man. I got no words. I'm so excited. Thanks so much for guiding this. And
Not a problem. No, that was cool to.
yeah, that was rad, dude.
Yeah, but you see how that's like an old bull like that. He's smart. See,
Yeah.
he's still leery. You know, this is the one time of the year he gets to breed and spread his genes. But yet, you know, we're trying to coax him over this way. But he wants to follow that cover.
Yeah.
You know, he always wants to use any security he can have. And I kind of knew that coming in, that the worst way for him to come up would be this way. A lot of times they like to circle downwind and smell what's in there.
Yeah, that smack when the bullet hit him was such a relief to hear that sound. It's
Yep.
the smack. I was like, oh, I think I got him.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously you
They
like
just
it
lay
when you
down.
get them out in the open, but they're usually just too smart for that. Younger bulls, they'll just come parading right up, but an old bull like that, that doesn't happen too often. Well, want to check them out?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Should I unload or
Yeah.
just keep it loaded, huh?
You can take one out of the chamber. Yep.
Okay.
Cool deal. First day.
So stoked. Can't believe it worked out like this.
Yeah, they don't always, but yeah, this is kind of the magic time. He was searching for those cows and just hadn't found any cows that were ready to gather in a harem, and he was thinking we were one of them.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Scored a moose. That's
It's pretty cool.
yeah.
We might be able to, once we butcher them out, we'll maybe try walking around over there to try to find if we can land, if the airplanes can land down there, so we don't have to pack them uphill.
Oh, how cool would that be?
That'd be very cool.
How cool would that be?
Either way, it won't be a terrible pack.
I'm on a landing strip.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You ready to check this thing out?
Yeah.
Your first big game animal, and it's a big
So excited.
big bull moose. No, and it's a half decent day. The wind, it's windy, but we're going to be down in the hole enough where hopefully it doesn't bother us.
So do you have a radio for the plane?
Yep,
Okay.
got a rain and a phone. So tell me, as that moose is coming up, what's going through your mind as he crosses that river and he's coming closer and closer?
Yeah, as soon as he crossed the river, I was like, oh man, it is on. I thought today we were just gonna sit in the wind all day and look for mooses. maybe tomorrow we'd see one. I don't know. I was prepared for many days of sitting on a windy ridge, and to see one as soon as the sun came up, pretty lucky.
Yeah, here's a whole bunch of blueberries. When you get in a patch like that, look at how big those suckers are.
Yeah, breakfast.
Organic as they get.
So good.
They're so much better than anything you buy in a grocery store.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, as we're packing moose, this is gonna have to be our break spot. But we'll probably look for a spot where the airplane can land over there, but I was hoping to pack this moose up, call him uphill as much as we could, keep us from packing them. You know, you don't want to think about that stuff too much. You want to get the moose, but at the same token, you know, you want to use anything to your advantage that you can. But if we can land over here, it'll be to our advantage that he's down farther. But either way, even if we do have to pack him up to the airstrip at camp, it's probably by way of the Crow. It'll be no more than a half mile, but it's all uphill, so it'll be fairly labor intensive. But we've got a young guy to help pack some meat here.
Yeah, I'm willing to move some of it. I thought I was gonna have to move the whole thing. So
yeah, Mark's like, so do the guides usually help pack the meat? I'm like, yeah, I'll help a little bit.
Sounds like training to carry the meat, pretty much.
I don't want
the bulk of my training doing a lot of squats.
I don't want to disappoint you. You can do it if you'd like.
Oh, I'll carry it.
It's too.
Probably can't carry a whole quarter.
They're pretty immense. It's too windy to fly a packer in today, so probably get started butchering, try to find if we can find an airstrip over there. Maybe haul a load today yet or two. We'll just play her by ear. Hopefully we'll get a packer in tomorrow. This isn't even tall brush, but it's taller than it looks, isn't it?
Yeah.
You realize how big that bull's gonna be because he's standing above this stuff. They're all big. Some are just bigger than others. Pretty excited to take a look at this bull. I think he's a pretty good one. Might have walked right past him. Oh, here he is. Yeah. That's my job.
Good at it.
This is him.
Oh, wow.
It's a nice bull.
It's okay if I come over?
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Okay.
He's dead as they get. Big old massive palms on him. Yeah, those palms are wide. Nice and wide.
Cool. Rest in peace, buddy. Thank you.
We had some moose tenderloin from Tom's bull last night. Good meat, isn't it?
It's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the experience like to walk up on an animal like this that you just killed?
Oh, man, it's a trip. It's definitely I'm not used to that sort of thing. It's sort of mixed emotions, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
It's like you sort of destroyed something really beautiful, but at the same time, it's really, you're really elated at the same time. You're really proud.
Yep,
That's what makes us human.
exactly. Yeah, in a strange way, by killing an animal like this, you have more respect for the animal.
Think about all the cows you've eaten, and you had no part in doing them in, and then this sort of helps balance the score. It kind of brings into balance where your meat comes from, I guess.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why hunting's important. You have more respect for your food, knowing where it comes from and how the animals were treated and such.
And an animal like this, totally at his prime, another year or two and this animal's, you know, really declining, going downhill. He's right in the prime of his life. A nice bull. Gonna be right around that 65-inch mark.
Really?
Yeah.
65?
Gonna be pretty close. If he's not, he's all a 63.
Jeez.
63, 66 inches, somewhere in there.
And where you measure from like here to the other guy?
The widest point,
Okay.
but kind of goes perpendicular across the rack, wherever the widest point. Yep,
Okay.
exactly. Yep.
Wow, in the 60s.
Oh yeah, he's definitely well into the 60s, no doubt about that. And this palm here is exceptionally wide.
So this is like a pretty good moose.
This is a very big. Oh yeah, this is a very big moose. This is among the bigger bulls I've ever guided for.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean to get good mass and wide palms, and you see how he's waving. He's kind of rolling over in the back a little bit. It's just kind of like a little bit of wave. That's a good sign that they're getting old. What do we think?
Pretty awesome animal.
Got the bushes
Really
cleared
lucky.
out.
Glad he went down and died pretty peacefully.
Yeah, he died pretty quick. Yeah, I figure he's definitely gonna be over 65. Thinking 66, 67 either way. Don't have a tape, but either way, he's a big
Yeah.
bull. Isn't that amazing? They hear that call and they know what that is.
Yeah.
And sometimes here they come. Not always, but
Yeah, I couldn't believe we got him to cross the river. I don't know, I seen all these videos of him. You gotta shoot him in a swamp, or we gotta shoot him on solid ground.
yeah,
It's pretty exciting.
we definitely got solid ground here. Big bull. Got a little hook there on his left side. 4 brows on either side. Good mass. He's got that bow in his bases. When the bases come out of the skull and they kind of bow down a little bit, that's a pretty good indicator that there's a good chance they'll hit 65. If you don't see that, they pretty much never do.
Okay.
But eventually they get so much weight and so much mass,
They
just
kinda
opens their palms out, and everything just bends a little bit over time. Awesome bull. Mark Frank, San Francisco, California. Didn't take us very long.
No, spotted the bull at sunrise and shot it about 8 in the morning. So yeah, pretty mellow hunt. Pretty thankful for that.
Yeah, it doesn't always work this easy, obviously, on day one, but we were real fortunate to have this bull just come into us the way it did. If we'd have had to try to get him in that sea of willows where he was when we spotted him, that'd have been really tough. It just really worked out. Made an excellent shot, and this is your first big game kill. Anything to add to it of your experience of, obviously not a lot of time, but this thing has gone full circle in very short order.
Yeah, it's I don't know, I just feel really lucky, really stoked to be here. It's new experience for me, big game hunting in Alaska. Never been to Alaska, never big game hunted, and to score a moose this good in the first couple hours of the first day is pretty dreamy.
Yeah, and we've got a grizzly bear tag, so we'll do some grizzly hunting. Obviously, we've got a lot of work before us now, so you'll figure out that end of it and the whole process of butchering it and utilizing the meat. And we had some of those moose steaks last night, and you know firsthand how good this meat is.
Yeah, it is really delicious. If you've not tried moose before, I recommend it.
Yeah, it's excellent meat. The only thing I'd take above it is Dall sheep. I'd take moose over elk or any kind of deer. Yeah, it's fantastic, and there's lots of it. So yeah, we've got a fair bit of work to do here. Hopefully, it looks like we got some rain coming. Maybe, hopefully, we don't get too wet today. But either way, very fortunate. Congrats again, and excellent shooting.
Yeah, super stoked.
The adventure is far from over, I assure you.
Yeah.
What started with that tiny little video camera, and that's still the camera that I use. One day we were trying to put these films together, and we realized we were trying to make our films like the films that everybody else had made. But I can't do that. I don't have a cameraman. I don't have good cinematography. And then I realized, rather than try to be like everybody else and compete with them, these guys that have cameramen, hundreds of thousands of dollars of budgets, but what I found was a niche. And my niche is this. What do I have that nobody else has? What can I do better than anybody else? And that's this. I've got 25 years in the wilderness. I've been on 40 Dall sheep hunts, 50 brown bear hunts, way too many caribou hunts to count, moose hunts, you name it. I've been on all those. Focus on what we have. And if you have something that nobody else has, and then you can design your business, your brand, your service around that, who's your competition? Well, it's a pretty good sign when you can't tag them without an extension. Moose 2000. Alright, he is legal. Well, I got my personal stuff. A little piece of liver and a tenderloin. That was a lot like work. Tweaked my back a little bit. Throwing that last hind quarter. It's a big bull, big bodied bull. Whew. Yeah, we're definitely gonna see if we can't. It isn't a little easier if we can find someplace else to land, but yeah, that's pretty labor intensive, to say the least. Right up in there is where we shot our bull, just beyond that spruce tree in the middle. Camp's right up on that ridge. I'm 90% sure the pilots will be able to land here. Got 125 feet marked off. A little rough, but I don't think it's too bad. 125 yards, I'm sorry. There's the touchdown on that end. There's the knob I usually glass from. Up at that little nipple there. This is good to know. I mean, had I known, we'll see if they make sure they can land here, but let them roll the strip a couple of times. But this will be real good to know for me in the future, so I can try to call moose to the river. This will be really handy. Save me a lot of work. Had I known this, we'd have just came right down to the river, tried to meet that bull right on the water. Saved ourselves quite a bit of work. But yeah, right out in this country right here is where we see the moose most often. It'll be nice to know, and if we can land here, then I can try to call them to this river or even take them right there. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have a pilot coming in and he'll make sure he can land here, and in the meantime we'll probably start cutting a trail right away through the brush, make it a little easier, a little safer. getting all the shin tangle stuff we can trip on, trying to get rid of that. We got a decent little trail here. We having fun yet?
No. I have no words for this.
This is moose hunting here.
Oh.
The full experience.
The full experience, awesome. Yeah, this wouldn't be fair if I didn't haul in here.
We found a good strip down at the bottom. Pretty sure they'll be able to land there, but winds are high back at base camp, so I'm not sure if they're gonna get in today or not. Check it out. But we got a trail cleared, but we don't want to haul any meat that way until we know for sure. So we got to go back to camp up this evening anyway, so we're gonna haul a little bit of meat. We each got about 50-60 pounds. Haul some meat back up to the top. We are working our way up. Kill site. And that's where we're hoping they can land. We don't have to go uphill. Ah, the joys of moose hunting. 2 big moose in 1 week. A lot of work. Well, what did we think of our first day of big game hunting?
That was an awesome day. I had a great time. It's a lot of work to butcher and haul the moose, but yeah, what a day. Definitely new, different experience. Super weird for me, but I had a great time.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Nothing sucked.
Yeah, well, not all hunting days are like that, I assure you. The weather was pretty good. Well, it was real good.
The weather was awesome, huh?
Yeah, we didn't have much rain, sprinkling a little now, but we are kind of looking like we're not going to get a packer this evening.
But we made a runway.
Yeah, well, we got a nice clear trail, and so we're just kind of holding tight. We're just waiting to see if they can land on that other runway down by the river. It'd be way easier packing the meat downhill. So, and it's nice, clear, good footing. Got a trail, just sweet. So, see what tomorrow brings. Do you have our hero in that airplane?
I
do. Sweet. We're down on the kill. If you want to land, however you want to do it, but I think I got a strip marked out in this bench, kind of right off your right wingtip at about your 2 o'clock position in that little tundra flat near the river.
Okay. I'm looking.
We're at your 11 o'clock. I'm probably giving you too many instructions. We're right off your left wing right now in the bottom.
Okay.
You know, you get around hunting camp and everybody jokes how you got to be nice to the cook, you know. Well, it never hurts to be nice to the pilot as well. For guides and hunters, if you're a client, never hurts to slip the pilot $100 every time he drops you somewhere, because they can really save you a lot of miles. And it was so nice for Brian to take a little extra time and check out that spot that I figured he could land. It saved us a lot of effort packing all that meat down the hill rather than up.
You got it marked out with something?
Yeah, I got some white ribbons. The upstream side, I've got 3 ribbons for a threshold on the upstream side, but right now you got a light breeze blowing down canyon. If you wanted to, you could, if you wanted to land Garrett, whoever you got up top, you could and roll it. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. There's but you got to stay on the line. I've got 125 yards marked out. On the downstream side, I've just got a single marker. So I've got 3 threshold markers on the upstream side, and then 3 markers for a center line. You could easily touch downstream of the first white flag. It's a little rough, but with a little bit of speed, you'd have no problem handling it, I think.
Okay, look at it here. so the 3, I got threshold, and then I got 3, and then I just aim for the center one.
Yep, you got the threshold on the upstream side. You definitely don't want to land, and you don't want to touch down anything upstream of the threshold marker. And then I've got 3 center line flags going right down the center, and then they're 125 yards long, but you definitely have an extra probably 50 yards downstream of the last white flag.
Okay, you got me lined up going, landing upstream, right?
Negative. The threshold is on the upstream side. Yesterday we had a 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing up the canyon. If you wanted to drop Garrett off up top, I could hike down there and then help you out.
Yeah, okay, that might be better. Because I'm looking at landing, you know, the wind's coming right down the valley, so I want to get pointed in it. So I'm looking at landing. I guess it'd be, landing upstream.
Roger that, and I do not have a threshold marker for you there, but I could go there and stand there. Because yeah, if Garrett ends up spending the night, he'd probably want to be up top with this stuff anyways, and we do have a little bit of meat up top. So if you want to just drop him off up there, and then I'll run down there without a pack, and then kind of guide you into it and check it out, because yeah, I think you'll like it, and it'll save us a bunch of hiking up this hill.
Sure, no, that sounds good. Yeah, just from the air, it looks, I'm sure it's one of those that just looks way worse than it is. But yeah, if you could be down there, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's just the one line, that's the only place you can land. You definitely don't want to miss the line. So you drop Garrett off and I'll be down there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, there's just little itty bitty divots. I don't think you'd have any problem unless you somehow, right as you kind of slow down, you know, get a tire in one, but I think it's pretty good.
Is there anything there for me to get? I guess I don't really need to land it. It's gonna work good though.
No, we don't have anything here yet. We just got that meat at the top, but yeah, I just wanted to make darn sure that you were cool with it before we started hauling meat here.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just set her down just to make damn sure. But yeah, no, I think it's good. I'll come in and land it.
Yeah, it's just that one line in this whole thing that's pretty sweet.
Cool.
Sweet. This totally changes moose hunting in this spot, knowing that we can land here. That was awesome. You know, in the 23 years I've been guiding, I've guided with some people that weren't quite so reputable, but by and large now, and I've kind of sifted through some poorer outfits over the years, but I'd like to think pretty much all the people that I work with now are pretty top shelf, and perhaps the best way to know you're dealing with a quality operation is by assessing their meat care. About 2 weeks, you're gonna be full of moose hunting, Garrett.
Oh, shit.
Moose packing. You can leave your rifle right there if you want, Mark.
Okay. I'll be about all moose hunting out.
Yeah, I'd imagine. It's how I got my start. If that doesn't scare you away, nothing will. The outfitter goes to every length to take care of meat. That's the guy that I want to hunt with. That tells me that that's someone with high moral, ethical standards. And in the guiding industry, a lot of times that's overlooked. And I would say that's something that really marks a true professional, is if they make every effort to take the absolute utmost care of their meat. And that's something that I and the people that I work with pride themselves on. And Brian Albert is an exceptional pilot. He runs his own business now, Ram Aviation. Just a good guy. We're gonna get this stuff down there, crib it up a little bit, covered it with a tarp, pretty warm. Covering it with the tarp more for shade than anything today, for right now anyway. And the pilots will either be back tonight or tomorrow. Grab the meat. This moose hunt will be complete. That's a load.
Yeah.
What, are you in a hurry? Well, we got all the meat packed out. Pretty much under that tarp, got a little bit back at camp. Thanks to this man. Sidestep technique, I like it. We gave Mark the option to split them. He said he wanted to keep them together. He volunteered to He-Man them up the hill. Be my guest.
I'm halfway there,
Yeah.
I think.
I'd hate to see you quit now. And so would Garrett. You got it. We'll be your cheerleaders. Pretty wide set of antlers coming up the hill. He did pretty darn good.
I'm not saying I wasn't stoked to get the ribs to the ridge, but this feels much better.
Yeah. The best thing about a moose hunt is when it's done.
Oh, it's like owning a boat, huh?
How so?
Oh, the best 2 days of owning a boat is when you buy it, when you sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of truth to that.
Is this where we're leaving them?
Yeah, I think so, I guess. Pilots threw everything out here. We can dump it right here.
Where do I touch down at?
Being the tarp, there's a blue glove out there. I'm almost to it now.
But I mean, for a guy that hasn't flown a cub a lot, this is probably pretty challenging. You know,
I'd be flipping out.
it's a little bit rough, but I guess if you want to learn, I guess you gotta jump in sooner or later, I guess.
Yeah.
Looks like you got her.
Down.
Whoa.
Makes her out
Got a little
there.
bumpy at the end there.
Yeah.
I think he kind of went off the strip too.
Yeah, it looked like you got too far left.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his wings were wagging pretty good there.
Yeah. He did it though.
Yeah.
He's got to be pumped. Shiny side up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sit there and watch those guys taxi, man. I'm nervous for them. It just seems like those things are so unstable. day 3 of Mark's hunt. Looking for a grizzly now. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. This looks like a sow here. Another bear. Right over here, looks like another sow. This another one, I figured was a medium-sized boar. First thing this morning, and then another one that too far away to have any idea. Got a pretty nice day. Young sow, she's downwind of Tom's kill right now. I think she's working in pretty cautious to it. It's probably about 300-400 yards away from it right now. Blondie.
Well, we decided to wait for him to say.
We're here from Joe on this one.
Yeah, send somebody to night school again.
Don't know knots, tie lots.
You got a ton of meat, Brian?
With the moose meat. Love seeing that moose fly away. The only thing better than shooting one is watching them fly away. It's all bear hunting now.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go find a bear.
I like it. So we've seen 4 sows, 2 boars, or at least what I'm figuring that's the case. One was a medium-sized boar, the big boar was of course the farthest away and heading the other way. A beautiful evening, got a few rain showers coming in here, but other than that, pretty darn enjoyable day today. So yeah, that's a lot of grizzly bears. You can see a lot of country from here, cool spot. Oh, and we also saw fox today. Moose steak for dinner?
Yeah. Hope so.
You got her.
No liver?
Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna try some liver tonight too. Mix that in. The old school method of soaking it in milk. We tried that. I got a little milk in it, so we'll dump that out and try some moose liver. I've had it before, but it's been a number of years. I'm not a big liver guy, but I like trying it once in a while. So we'll give her a whirl. We're going for the liver, but we're not real brave. Just 2 little pieces to start, then we're gonna fry some steak. We'll see. How do you do liver? You do it rare or do you cook it through?
I think you cook it through and pair it with hot chocolate usually.
I'm sure. I think we wasted the onions.
Yeah, it's pretty gnar.
It tastes just like a moose.
Yeah.
You just, yeah, there's way too much moose taste in there.
Moosey.
And it's soaked it for over 24 hours in milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm done for another few years on trying a moose liver. I'm good to go.
And thanks for braving it with me.
Yeah, we're just gonna try. We're going back to the steaks. We know those are good. Well, what's going on? Morning day 4.
Just looking at bears. Spotted a sow bear about 3 miles that way, and just spying on her right now, seeing what she's up to.
I think that's she's one of the bigger bears we've seen, but the wind has been coming cross canyon pretty much every day. If you want animals to find gut piles, you need the wind either up or down canyon. So it looks like hopefully this weather will hold. We'll glass some bears today. Searching for grizzlies. Get a nice bull moose. Low 60s. Good browse, good bull. Called to him a couple of times. He got up out of his bed. He zeroed in on us, but he hasn't come forward at all yet. He's a little over a mile away. Spotted another bull. Got a small one following him. He seems to be heading our way. He ain't scared. The other one we were calling to went the other way. And an acrobatic raven. That is wild.
What a cool animal.
Yeah, kind of cool little performance. He's just doing it over and over and over again. There he did it again. Filtered by nature. See him in there?
No, not yet.
Ready to go after a bear? I don't know, he's heading the other way still, but you can see him actually with the naked eye. Over right in the center of the screen there. Okay, looks like a pretty good bear.
Red.
Alright, yeah, I think we'll cruise the bottom, we'll cruise the river. It's gonna be about 3+ miles from camp. This is probably a stupidly ambitious stalk. Caw-caw! This is our last full day of bear hunting, so I figure let's go for it. Take our chances. He's on the back side of that mountain, right there. We got a chance. We're in the river bottom rather than side hilling up through all that stuff. We're hoping we can find good easy going like this. If we can find good easy going like this, which it looks like from the top, we got a chance. There's our bear. 260 yards. We're gonna sneak in a little closer. The bear won that round, huh?
Yeah, it sure did. That was fun though.
We
Running
poked
after an animal like that.
Yeah, we poked over. The bear was right over here. We poked through. We saw him at 267. We went to sneak a little closer. I don't know. I'm guessing he must have heard us a little bit. We had a pretty clear sneaking. We're sneaking through a fair bit of alders. He might have just heard us and then caught a little bit of movement through that brush, but I thought we were good. But he was out of the wind, so he could maybe hear a little better than we thought. That'd be my guess. We got our range stuff on. We're soaked, as you can see. But maybe he heard a little swish of the rain gear. The wind was swirling down in this little draw. He was right here. We were over there when we saw him. We had to get through those alders somehow. We're pushing dark, so we knew we had to get it done quick. But what'd you think of that?
Oh, that was incredible. Just seeing an animal like a bear, you know. You're around 200 yards from it, and you go closer. This is pretty radical for me. I don't know about the people watching at home, but that was awesome. What a rush!
I told Mark, I said, well, maybe you got a better cross section of hunting. You know, the moose was pretty easy. The bear, you know, it didn't work out because that's all part of it. You know, just we knew it was a long shot stock. The bear was actually a lot closer. I mean, more or less a couple hundred yards from where we last saw it, and I could see it's got a lot of sign in here. This bear's been hanging out, been real windy. It's blowing 40 on top. This bear's been hanging in here probably the last couple of days. Looked like it was a pretty good bear. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was definitely a mature bear.
I'm pretty happy with how that turned out anyway. That was awesome.
It was cool. I'm glad we got to see him, you know. Of course, it always sucks the closer you get when it doesn't work out, but yeah, that's what'll bring you back hunting again another time.
Oh yeah.
We've been going non-stop, so we gotta go up from camp. So yeah, we got a good hour and a half to get back to camp, so we better get on it. Get back to camp before dark. We ready?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Cool, man.
Hopefully the pace is a little mellower on the way back.
Probably not. We're gonna be trying to get home now.
Okay.
Mark was saying how he wanted to see the river. Got to see the river anyway.
Yeah, got to be in the river.
Yeah.
Twice.
We'll get to do it twice again.
Nice, 4 times. Oh my god, that was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe you got me within 200 yards of that thing. That's bonkers. Like, spot something 3 miles away and be like, oh yeah, we'll just like wander through these bushes at breakneck speed for the next 45 minutes. Oh, there it is. There, yeah.
That was an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've actually made pretty decent time. Make her look easy. 8:40, we're on our way home. This is getting into a potentially dangerous situation because the fog is dropping. We still got about 40 minutes to get it to camp. I don't carry a GPS. I don't think we'll have any major problems, but camp is on the back side of this mountain. But this is where you can get in trouble. Fog comes down on you and you lose your visibility and you don't know where you're going. Everything looks the same, but so yeah, you always want a GPS. Probably a good idea, but if you don't have one like I don't, you always want to be real observant of where you are at all times. So we're gonna push back as fast as we can and try to make it back before dark and before this fog swallows us. You got your money's worth?
I think so.
I think he's finding the wall. Probably a little past. Have you found the wall or are we past it?
What's that?
The tired wall. Are you there or past it?
I think I'm
There's the tent. We're packing her up. The adventure is drawing to a conclusion, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite an adventure. I had a great time. I think I'm hooked on the hunting now. Yeah, as soon as I finish all my moose meat, I'll have to get back out there and find something else to eat. It's pretty cool sport.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What like of this experience, what stands out in your mind that was different, you know, than what you anticipated, or better or worse, or?
Oh, everything was better than I expected.
Yeah?
I don't know, I just expected it to be way worse, and way... I guess it was about as hard as it could be at certain points, but, I don't know, I just had so much a better time than I thought I would, you know?
What do you think makes you what do you want to come back? Why do you think you want to come back and do it again?
The time spent outdoors is really cool, you know, just sitting and watching the animals. Like, we just sat up on a hillside and we watched these ravens do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you didn't sit out there all day, you'd never see that.
Yeah.
It's just so much better than, you know, well, I mean, my everyday job is driving a truck around, but I don't know, it's a really peaceful activity, and sometimes you have something to show for it at the end,
Yeah.
which is, you know, pretty cool. Just yeah, thanks for taking me out here and showing me the ropes and being cool with me not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot of dudes who would have been as okay with that as you, and I thank you for your patience. And,
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
teachings.
Anything as far as just kind of like your overall experience that, you know, that you think is worthy of note that maybe people in your shoes won't know, or maybe experienced hunters might forget or lose sight of, or kind of your unbiased experience, you know, you're just...
Well, I can't speak to what experienced hunters forget or even know in the first place, but I think it's good to remember why you come out here is to relax and have fun and enjoy nature. And it's not just about collecting heads. And as far as you know, new people who are thinking about getting into hunting, I recommend it. It's not as scary as it sounds initially. You know, big game hunting can be a really palatable experience from where I'm standing. And then there's all sorts of other hunting too that's a little less intense, I'd imagine. Yeah, I think it's a great way to connect with nature, a great way to connect with, you know, where food comes from. You know, I think a lot of people forget that the meat we eat comes from animals, you know, and to come out here and observe these animals in their natural state and take one and be nourished by it really strengthens your bond with nature, which I'm all about. So,
Mark was, I've relearned some things from Mark as well on this trip, just reiterates the fact of, or my knowledge of why we hunt, how fortunate I am to be here, and any hunter for that matter, is just to experience raw nature in its most basic primitive form. That's the coolest thing about hunting in Alaska is just to be part of nature for a brief window of time. You understand more, you come to understand more about yourself, about everything in your life, I believe. The time spent alone, you put things into perspective, you just realize how fortunate you are, the blessings you have in your life, and then to witness those animals that, you know, that you rely on for sustenance, at least a lot of people do. But it just gives you a lot of appreciation for everything in your life, what you eat.
everything that you have. You realize that you're left with the basic necessities of life. That's all you have out here, and nature, and it's very humbling. And yeah, I love it. So another great hunt. Learn something from every hunter and every experience that every adventure that I'm on. This one's no different, and leave here a better person for it. Day 9 of Mark's hunt. We got weathered in yesterday, didn't make her out. Just slowly improving after more or less 2 days of rain. Might make her out of here yet, man.
That'll be rad. Got to see the northern lights last night because we got socked in though, so not a total loss.
Yeah. Mark's you've never seen the northern lights before?
Not never.
Yeah, well, till now.
Yeah, I was pretty excited.
Got her all packed up. Runway markers are in place. Hopefully we'll make it out of here. I'm supposed to go do another hunt. I was supposed to leave yesterday, so I'm a little late for that. But hopefully they'll wait for me. So I'll probably get into town and then head back out to the field and do another hunt in other areas. See how she rolls. Can't fight Mother Nature though. It's a losing battle. Oh, look at him yawn into the wind. Yeah, he's getting a pretty good little breeze there. They like to land on those uphills.
It's awesome.
He's a pretty good pilot.
Hell yeah!
That was pretty good. When you get it into the wind, they really like that. Because otherwise you can have the real, if he'd landed with the ridge, it'd have been a lot longer, but he's got a crosswind. You know, when I was a young kid, probably even in my early days as a young hunter, young guide, I would have probably told you that, you know, to be a good hunter, you got to have a lot of kills under your belt. You know, you've got to have some animals in the record books. You have to have hunted in various places. Probably got to be able to bow hunt, you know, primitive weapons at a bare minimum. You know, and if you've got some grizzly bear charges under your belt and you're still alive to tell the story, you know, as a young kid, I kind of, I don't know, I almost like dreamed of being charged by a grizzly bear. And I look back at that now, it's like, man, that's pretty stupid, you know? You know, since then, I've gotten around a little bit. I've hunted a lot of those places. I've had pretty much all of those things happen to me. And I've rubbed elbows with, I've drank whiskey with, I've shared campfires with, I've hunted with some of the most well-known, famous, most achieved hunters in the world. I don't know if out of all those guys, any of them impacted me not only as a human being, but more as a hunter than what Mark did.
But yeah, what a day.
Mark didn't take one single aspect of our time together and the overall experience for granted. And it made me feel alive because I wanted
every morning I wanted to just get up and experience everything just the same way that he did. I wanted to point things out to him, the most subtle nuances of nature that I maybe sometimes took for granted, and most hunters couldn't care less about. Mark wanted to know about those things, and so everything that I noticed that was happening in nature, I would explain that to him, and I discovered more things about nature on that hunt than I had on most other hunts, because I knew, because I was looking for it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Probably the best way to describe it is, in every aspect of our experience together, Mark had a childlike humility. And because of that, and because of how he made me feel and how I automatically responded to his humility, it was one of the most pivotal experiences in my life.
Yeah, it's quite an adventure. I had a great time. I think I'm hooked on the hunting now.
Looking back at it now, years later, I recognize, because it was effortless for me to pour out everything I had into him to make his experience as good as it could possibly be, and to maybe to make a hunter out of him. But I mean, in some ways he had hunting figured out better than I did. It was like I maybe discovered more about hunting in that hunt than what he did. Because it made me realize to think about Joe and how his pride led to me tracking a butt-shot grizzly bear into the brush, whereas Mark's humility made me want to pour out everything that I possibly could.
That was awesome. What a rush.
Surfer dude, I think you just smoked a big moose.
Oh my God.
Love's not a, real popular word amongst rough and tumble men, but I mean, to some degree, I felt a love for Mark. I looked forward to getting up early in the morning for that guy, and I do for most of my hunters, but I mean, it just brought this rejuvenation to me and for hunting and guiding. I have a spiritual mentor that I was sharing this experience with, and he said, "Billy, do you recognize what happened here?" He said, "Mark was totally reliant on you to keep him safe. He had absolutely no idea what he was doing, but he had humbled himself to you and was willing to do whatever you told him to do. And look at how you responded. Look at the love you gave him. Look at how much you just naturally wanted to pour out to him."
The bearer won that round.
And he said to me, "Now, how much more will God give to you if you will humble yourself to him the way Mark did to you?" And it was almost like it kind of punched me in the gut, because why I couldn't see that, I don't know. But it made me realize the times where I did that in my life, where I have humbled myself, where I've kind of surrendered my preconceived notions of, how I should be able to handle this, or what I should do, and just let go and let God, as the saying goes. How he's always been there for me in my life. And it's crazy when I look back at that hunt now. I honestly don't know who took more away from that hunt, from our time together. Was it Mark or was it me? Yeah, she's got a little sway to her. Looks just like a moose, only walking away. Coming down now. And so after we had the bull all butchered up, Mark and I were just sitting there taking a breather, drinking some water, eating a little bit, and Mark was explaining to me that when he had gotten there, you know, that the weather was so bad that the Super Cubs couldn't fly anybody out into the field, but he was able to fly into town, and there was a bunch of other hunters who were already in camp, and the outfitter was telling everybody how, you know, everybody was seeing bulls, and that I had spotted this big bull, and he was going to try to get somebody out to me first thing the next morning if the weather was good. And so the next morning comes around, and the outfitter selects for Mark to come out and fly out into camp. And Mark said, you know, I could really feel the tension from all the other hunters because they had been there before me, but for whatever reason, I got picked to be flown out to you, and here I am sitting over, you know, sitting beside this big moose. I kind of got a feeling that those guys aren't going to like me much. And I said, Mark, you're catching on to this hunting thing pretty darn quick.
Back.
Yeah.
I think you're more like a TSA type.
Yeah, no, they're not so much
Like
TSA.
I'm flying, I should probably unload the gun.
Nah, yeah, they don't care. As long as there isn't one in the pipe.
Yeah, no.
The old boy used to guide for us said he had a hunter that he hated. So he tied on a set of caribou antlers on his pack and faced all the points forward, and he walked through every patch of alders he could find.
For more modern-day Mountain Man DVDs and digital downloads, log on to BillyMollsAdventures.com. Here you'll also find books, a wide variety of merch, and information on hunting opportunities with Billy. When he's not hunting, Billy travels nationally and internationally as a public speaker, sharing his captivating, soul-stirring tales of adventure by way of his one-of-a-kind, down-to-earth delivery at corporate and community events, Christian outreaches, and conservation organizations. Just like the Alaskan wilderness, no one leaves a Billy Molls presentation the same person as they enter it. Log on or call for more info.